Saturday morning, May 15th, 2024, dawn at the lake. I woke to the sound of a car door slamming. Sharp, sudden, wrong for 5:30 in the morning. I'd driven up to the cabin Friday afternoon, solo trip. Michael was busy with the girls' soccer tournament. Jennifer had some work thing. I just wanted a quiet weekend. The lake, my mother's old place, peace. But that sound, that car door, pulled me straight out of sleep. I got to the bedroom window just in time to see Jennifer's black SUV at the dock. My heart did this odd skip. What was she doing here? She didn't even know I'd come up for the weekend. I'd mentioned it to Michael in passing, but Jennifer wasn't on that call. Dawn light was just starting to break over the water. Cold. That gray-blue moment before real sunrise. And I watched Jennifer get out of her car. She was wearing yoga pants and a sweatshirt, hair pulled back. She looked around, quick, nervous, like she was checking if anyone was watching. Then she opened the back of the SUV, pulled out a suitcase, one of those hard shell ones, dark blue. It looked heavy. She struggled with it. I should have called out, should have opened the window and said, "Jennifer, what are you doing?" But something stopped me. Some instinct I didn't quite understand yet. She carried that suitcase to the end of the dock, the wood planks creaking under her feet. I could hear it even from the cabin. Everything's so quiet at dawn. And then, I swear I'm not making this up, she lifted that suitcase and threw it into the lake, not dropped, threw. Like she was trying to get it as far from shore as possible. It hit the water with this dull splash, sank almost immediately. Jennifer stood there for maybe 10 seconds, breathing hard, then she turned, walked back to her car, and drove away. Fast. Gravel spraying from her tires. I stood at that window for a full minute, maybe longer, my brain trying to make sense of what I'd just seen. There had to be an explanation, a reasonable explanation. Maybe she was throwing away old files for me, cleaning out the cabin, but at dawn? In secret? I waited another 30 minutes, made sure she was really gone. Then I walked down to Margaret's place. My neighbor, 3 cabins over, knocked on her door. "Margaret, can I borrow your rowboat?" She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. It was barely 6 in the morning, but Margaret's known me for 20 years. She handed me the keys to her little aluminum boat. "You okay, Barb?" "I don't know yet," I said. The water was cold, calm. I rowed out to where I'd seen the suitcase go down. The lake's not deep there, maybe 15 feet. I could see it. Dark shape on the bottom. I used Margaret's boat hook. Took 3 tries, but I got it. Pulled that suitcase up onto the dock, water streaming off it. My hands were shaking, from cold, from something else. I opened it right there. Wet dock boards under my knees. Morning sun finally breaking over the trees. Inside, my grandmother's jewelry. Her wedding ring set from 1947. The pearl necklace my grandfather gave her for their 50th anniversary. The emerald brooch. All of it. Pieces my mother gave me 3 years ago before she died. "Keep these safe for the girls," she'd said. For Emma and Sophie, my granddaughters. But that wasn't all. Underneath the jewelry, documents. Waterlogged now, but readable. A property deed. For this cabin. With my signature at the bottom. Except I'd never signed that deed. The signature looked like mine, but I'd never transferred ownership. Never even discussed it. And bank statements. My bank statements. Showing a withdrawal for $30,000 2 weeks ago. I didn't make that withdrawal. I sat there on that dock, jewelry in my lap, forged documents spread around me, and I felt my whole world tilt. My daughter-in-law. The woman I'd welcomed into my family 8 years ago. The woman I'd given money to, trusted, loved. She'd been stealing from me. I picked up my phone. My hands were still shaking. I needed to call Michael. But first I needed to know how bad this really was. I needed to see my accounts, all of them. Because if Jennifer threw this in the lake, if she was trying to hide it, that meant there was more. More I hadn't found yet. I looked at my mother's wedding ring, water still dripping off the gold. How long had this been going on? I need to back up. Explain how we got here. because none of this makes sense without understanding what this cabin means, what that jewelry means, what Jennifer was supposed to mean to our family. My mother bought this place in 2001. She was 73, widowed for 6 years. She wanted somewhere the family could gather. A legacy, she called it. Something that lasts. 23 years of summers, 3 generations. The kitchen where she taught me to make her blueberry pie. The porch where my granddaughters played Go Fish last August. The dock where my late husband Richard proposed to me 45 years ago. When Mom died 3 years ago, she left the cabin to me, not my brother, not split between us, just me. "You're the one who'll protect it," she'd said. "You're the one who understands what it means." The jewelry came with the same instructions, her wedding ring set, the one Grandpa gave her in 1947. They'd saved for months. $56 paid in cash at a jeweler in downtown Cleveland. The pearl necklace he bought her for their 50th anniversary. The emerald brooch her mother wore to Ellis Island. "Keep these safe for the girls," Mom said. She meant Emma and Sophie, my granddaughters. "When they're old enough, tell them the stories. Let them know where they came from." I put that jewelry in my safe deposit box, visited it once a year on Mom's birthday, just to look, to remember. Except 6 months ago, I took it out, brought it to the cabin. I'd been thinking about the girls. Emma's 12 now, Sophie's 9, maybe old enough to see some of the pieces. Try them on, hear the stories while they still mattered, while I could still tell them. I kept the jewelry in the bedroom dresser, top drawer, in its original velvet box. Jennifer knew it was there. I'd shown her last Christmas. That should have been my first warning. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about Jennifer, about how she became family, about everything I gave her because I thought that's what family did. Michael met her 9 years ago, online dating. She was smart, ambitious, running her own marketing consultancy. I liked her immediately. She asked good questions, laughed at my stories, brought wine to family dinners. 8 years ago, they got married. Small wedding, elegant. I contributed $15,000 because I wanted Jennifer to feel welcomed, celebrated, part of our family from day one. 2 years later, they bought their first house. Jennifer came to me, nervous. Their down payment was short. "Just $25,000, she said. "We'll pay you back, I promise." I liquidated part of my retirement fund, handed her a check. "Family helps family," I told her. She cried, hugged me, called me Mom. Then came the business startup, $12,000 for her consultancy, the website, the marketing, the equipment. "It's going to take off," she promised. It never did. 6 months later, she closed it down, never mentioned the money again. The car loan, $20,000. Her credit wasn't good enough. "Just co-sign," Michael asked. "We'll make every payment." I signed. 3 months later, payments started bouncing. I covered them. Didn't want to damage my credit score. And then there were the smaller things. $500 here, $1,000 there. Loans that were never loans. Gift money for the girls that somehow always went to Jennifer's expenses first. By the time I stopped counting, I'd given her over $80,000 in 8 years. I thought I was building their future, supporting my son's family, being a good mother-in-law. I thought she was grateful. I thought she was family. Here's what I missed, what I should have seen, last Christmas. We were at my house. Jennifer asked to see the cabin paperwork. "Just curious about the trust," she said. "How does inheritance work with property like that?" I showed her the deed, the trust documents, explained how it was set up. She took pictures with her phone. "For our records," she said. That same visit, she asked about the jewelry. "Is it still in the safe deposit box?" I told her no. Told her I'd moved it to the cabin. Showed her pictures on my phone. The ring close up, the necklace. "They're beautiful," she said. "The girls will love them someday." I thought she was interested in family history, in preserving these stories for Emma and Sophie. I was so stupid. My son Michael, 45 years old, IT manager, stable job, good father. He calls me every Sunday. "How are you, Mom?" always asks, never probes deeper. When I mentioned Jennifer's stress last year, "She seems worried about money." He brushed it off. "She's fine, Mom, just busy with work." I should have pushed, should have asked harder questions, but I didn't, because I hate conflict, always have. My flaw, and I know it's a flaw, is that I value peace over truth, harmony over confrontation. I'm the person who smooths things over, who gives people the benefit of the doubt, who assumes the best in everyone even when the evidence suggests otherwise. Richard used to tease me about it. "Barbara," he'd say, "not everyone deserves your trust." He was right. But after he died 5 years ago, heart attack, sudden, devastating, I leaned even harder into that instinct. Keep the family together. Don't make waves. The kids have lost their father. Don't burden them with your suspicions. So when Jennifer asked those questions at Christmas, I answered. When she needed money, I gave. When the red flags appeared, I looked away. The people who actually saw it, who tried to warn me, Margaret Davis, my neighbor at the lake, 72, retired nurse, widow, like me. We've been friends for 20 years. Every summer, she brings a casserole, green bean, with the crispy onions on top. "I made extra," she always says. "Freeze half." Every Sunday morning, we drink coffee on her porch, watch the sunrise. She knows everyone's business at the lake, sometimes too well, but her heart's in the right place. Margaret never liked Jennifer, never said it directly, but I could tell. Little comments. "Your daughter-in-law seems stressed. Does Michael know she's been coming up here alone?" I dismissed it. Thought Margaret was being nosy. Then there's Tom Patterson, my financial advisor for 15 years. 55. Professional, detail-oriented. Keeps photos of his own mother on his desk. She died last year, and I know it matters to him, protecting older clients. 6 months ago, Tom flagged an unusual transaction. "Barbara, did you authorize a $3,000 transfer?" I had. Jennifer needed it for Emma's school expenses. Tom didn't say anything more, just made a note in my file. I should have listened. To Margaret, to Tom, to my own gut. But I didn't. Because family. That Saturday morning, after I pulled the suitcase from the lake, I didn't go back to sleep. Couldn't. I carried everything up to the cabin, laid the jewelry on paper towels to dry, spread the documents across the kitchen table. My coffee sat there cooling, untouched. Everything tasted wrong that morning. I walked through the cabin, each room holding a generation of memories. Mom in the kitchen, flour on her hands, teaching me her pie crust. The porch where the girls played last summer, their laughter echoing across the water. Richard on the dock, 30 years younger, nervous, holding out that ring. From the bedroom window, I could see Mom's rose bushes. She planted them the year she bought this place. 23 years of blooms. They'd survived winters, droughts, storms. Still growing, still beautiful. If those roses could survive, maybe this family could too. I took out my phone, started photographing everything. The jewelry, every piece. The forged deed. The bank statements, each document. I needed evidence, proof that I wasn't imagining this, proof that what I'd seen that morning was real. Because part of me, even then, wanted to believe there was an explanation. Some reasonable story Jennifer would tell, some misunderstanding we could clear up. But those documents didn't lie. That $30,000 withdrawal wasn't a misunderstanding. And the woman who threw this suitcase in a lake at dawn wasn't planning to explain anything. She was planning to hide it, which meant Monday morning I was making calls. To Tom first, my financial advisor. I needed to see all my accounts, every transaction, everything Jennifer had access to. Because if she'd taken $30,000, if she'd forged a property deed, if she'd stolen my mother's jewelry and tried to sink it, then what else had she done? How long had my daughter-in-law been robbing me blind? Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock. I'd been sitting with that evidence for 9 hours, photographing, organizing, trying to make sense of it. Finally, I picked up my phone, called Michael. Hey, Mom. His voice was cheerful, weekend relaxed. What's up? Michael, I need you to come to the cabin. Today, if you can. Tomorrow morning at the latest. Pause. Is everything okay? No, I said. My voice was steadier than I expected. It's not. I need to talk to you about something important. Can you tell me what it's about? I looked at the jewelry spread across my kitchen table. The forged deed. Not over the phone. I need you to see it, please. Can you come? Another pause. Longer. Yeah, okay. I'll leave in an hour. Be there by 6. Thank you, I said. Come alone, please. Just you. Mom, please, Michael. Just you and me. He agreed. Hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, and tried to prepare myself for the conversation, for telling my son that his wife was a thief. But when Michael arrived Sunday morning, not Saturday evening, Sunday morning at 9, he wasn't alone. Jennifer was with him. I was making coffee when I heard 2 car doors, looked out the window, Michael's sedan, both front doors opening. My stomach dropped. They came up the porch steps together. Michael knocked, called out, Mom, it's us. Us, not me, us. I opened the door. Michael smiled, gave me a hug. Jennifer stood behind him, sunglasses on despite the overcast morning, yoga pants and a pullover. Hi, Barbara, she said. Casual, normal, like she hadn't been here 36 hours ago throwing evidence in the lake. I didn't expect both of you, I said. Michael missed the tone. Jennifer wanted to come, said she hasn't seen the cabin in months. You don't mind, right? I minded. I minded very much. But Jennifer was already walking past me into the cabin, taking off her sunglasses, looking around. Coffee's on, I said, tried to keep my voice level. Michael, can I talk to you in the kitchen? Sure. He followed me. Jennifer stayed in the living room. I could hear her moving around, opening the deck door, going outside. In the kitchen, I turned to Michael, kept my voice low. I asked you to come alone. I know, Mom, but Jennifer... Michael, listen to me. I found something important, and I need you to look at it with me. Just you. His face changed, concerned now. What did you find? Before I could answer, Jennifer walked into the kitchen. The deck furniture looks great, Barbara. Did you refinish it? Yes, I said, automatic. Last month. It's beautiful. She smiled, poured herself coffee, leaned against the counter, staying. Michael looked between us, sensing something wrong but not sure what. Mom, you were saying? I had 2 choices. Wait until Jennifer left, which she clearly wasn't planning to do, or confront this now. With both of them, I chose confrontation. The suitcase is in the 2nd bedroom, I said. Look directly at Jennifer, if you want to see it. Her hand, holding the coffee mug, stopped halfway to her mouth, just for a second. Then she took a sip. What suitcase? The one you threw in the lake Saturday morning. Dawn. I watched you from the bedroom window. Michael's head turned to Jennifer, then back to me. Mom, what are you talking about? Come with me, I said. Both of you. I walked to the 2nd bedroom, the one I use for storage. The suitcase was on the bed, still damp, opened, jewelry and documents visible inside. Michael stared at it. What is that? Jennifer had stopped in the doorway. Her face, I watched it carefully, went pale, then blank, carefully blank. That, I said, is your grandmother's jewelry, the pieces I inherited from my mother, and several documents, including a forged property deed for this cabin. I don't understand, Michael said. Jennifer threw this suitcase in the lake Saturday morning. I retrieved it, opened it, found all of this inside. Michael looked at Jennifer, really looked. Jen? Barbara, I don't know what you're talking about. Her voice was calm, too calm. I wasn't even here Saturday. Yes, you were, 5:30 in the morning. I saw your SUV. I watched you carry this suitcase to the dock and throw it in the water. Mom. Michael's voice was careful now, gentle, like he was talking to someone confused. Are you sure about what you saw? It was early morning, dawn. Maybe Maybe I was confused? I looked at my son. Michael, I know what I saw. Jennifer stepped into the room, closer to the suitcase, looking at it like she was seeing it for the first time. Barbara, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I haven't been to the cabin in months. Maybe you saw someone else, another woman. In the dark, it would be easy to mistake. It was your car, Jennifer. I don't even know where you keep that jewelry. I thought it was in a safe deposit box. I showed you last Christmas, right here, in this cabin. You took pictures with your phone. Her eyes flickered, just slightly. I was interested in family history, for the girls. I didn't... Barbara, I think maybe you're mixing up memories. It happens, especially at your age. Stress, lack of sleep. Sometimes our minds... Don't. My voice came out harder than I intended. Don't tell me I'm confused. Don't tell me I'm imagining things because I'm old. I saw you. I have the suitcase. I have the evidence. And I have this. I picked up one of the documents, the property deed. This is a forged deed transferring ownership of this cabin to you, with my signature. Except I never signed this. I never agreed to transfer anything. Michael took the document, read it. His face changed as he processed what he was seeing. Jen, this has your name on it. I've never seen that before. Jennifer's voice was rising now, a little frantic. This must be some kind of fraud, identity theft. Someone's trying to... Jennifer. I looked at her. Really looked. Stop. Just stop. I know what you did. I saw you do it. And I'm not going to let you gaslight me or my son or pretend this is all some misunderstanding. She stared at me. For 3 seconds. 5. Then she turned and walked out of the room. Out of the cabin. I heard her car door slam, engine start, gravel spraying. She left. Michael stood there holding the deed, looking lost. Mom, she wouldn't, there must be an explanation. Michael. I put my hand on his arm. Look at this. Really look. At the jewelry, at the documents, at the bank statement showing a $30,000 withdrawal I didn't make. He looked. I watched him take it in. Piece by piece. His wife's name on a forged deed. His mother's stolen jewelry. Evidence of theft. His face went through several emotions. Confusion, denial, doubt. And finally, just for a moment, something that looked like fear. Maybe, he said slowly, maybe there's a legal explanation. Maybe she was trying to help you with estate planning and... At dawn? By throwing it in a lake? He didn't have an answer for that. I need to make some calls, I said. I need to talk to my financial advisor. I need to see my accounts. All of them. Because, Michael, if Jennifer did this, if she forged documents and stole jewelry, then I need to know what else she's taken. Mom, don't. Not yet. Let me talk to her first. Let me find out what's going on. There has to be a reasonable... Michael, this isn't reasonable. This is theft. This is fraud. She's my wife, and I'm your mother. I said it quietly. And someone has been stealing from me, taking my mother's jewelry, forging my signature, taking money from my accounts, that someone drove away 5 minutes ago. He looked at the suitcase again, at the jewelry. Just give me a week. Let me talk to her. Find out what's happening. Before you do anything official, please. I wanted to say no. Wanted to pick up the phone right then and call Tom. Call the police. But I looked at my son's face, confused, scared, torn between his wife and his mother, and I couldn't. 3 days, I said. I'll give you 3 days to talk to her. But Michael, on Monday, I'm calling my financial advisor. I'm checking my accounts. And if I find more evidence of theft, I'm filing a police report. Do you understand? He nodded. Slowly. I understand. After he left, I sat at the kitchen table, pulled out my laptop, logged into my online banking, something I should have done hours ago, days ago, months ago. I scrolled through my checking account, savings, credit cards, and there it was, another withdrawal, $15,000, 2 weeks ago. Authorization form with my signature, except I didn't sign it, didn't authorize it, Didn't even know it had happened. $30,000, $15,000, $45,000, just from what I could see in the past month. How much more? How long? I picked up my phone. Not Michael this time. Tom Patterson, my financial advisor. It rang, twice before he answered. "Barbara, everything okay?" "Tom," I said, "I need to see you. First thing Monday morning. I need you to pull every transaction on every account for the past 2 years. Everything. Can you do that?" Pause. Then, carefully, "What's going on? I think someone's been stealing from me. I need to know how much and how long." "I'll pull the records tonight," Tom said. "Come in at 9 tomorrow. We'll go through everything." "Thank you." After I hung up, I sat there in the quiet cabin. Mom's roses visible through the kitchen window, the lake calm beyond them, everything peaceful, normal. Except nothing was normal anymore, because my daughter-in-law was a thief, my son was in denial, and Monday morning I was going to find out just how bad this really was. Monday morning, 9 o'clock, Tom Patterson's office, downtown, 3rd floor, glass and chrome, professional, safe. I'd barely slept Sunday night. Kept running through the confrontation with Jennifer. Michael's face when he asked for time. The number on my screen. $45,000. Just from what I could see. Tom was waiting when I arrived. He'd pulled files, printed statements. His desk was covered with paper. He stood when I walked in. "Barbara, come in, sit down." I sat, looked at all those papers. "How bad is it?" Tom picked up a yellow legal pad, numbers written in his precise handwriting. He'd been calculating. I pulled every account, checking, savings, money market, credit cards, going back 18 months. He paused, looked at me over his reading glasses. "Barbara, someone accessed your accounts 47 times in that period. Withdrawals, transfers, always in amounts under $10,000 until recently." "How much?" My voice sounded far away. $67,000 total. The number hit me like cold water. 67,000, not 45, 67. Most of it came from your savings account, the money market. Small amounts at first, $500, $1,000. Then it escalated. 3,000, 5,000. The largest single withdrawal was $30,000 3 weeks ago. That's when I flagged it. But you said you'd authorized it. I had. Jennifer needed it. Emergency car repair, she'd said. Michael had called. I'd approved the transfer. Except there was no car repair. Tom was still talking. The access came through your online banking portal. Someone had your login credentials, your password. They knew exactly which accounts to hit, when to do it. Some withdrawals happened at 3 in the morning. 3 a.m.? Yes, when most people are asleep, less likely to notice account activity immediately. How did they get my password? Tom pulled out another document, a power of attorney form. This was filed with your bank 14 months ago, gives Jennifer Hayes full access to your accounts, joint access with you. The signature looks like yours. I stared at the form, at my signature. It looked right. The loops, the slant. But I didn't remember signing it. Tom, I never signed this. Are you certain? Yes, I would remember. Jennifer asked me about estate planning last Christmas. I told her everything was already set up. She asked if she should have POA. I said no. Michael's my POA. He's been my POA since Richard died. Tom made a note. Then this signature is forged, which means every transaction made with this authorization is fraud. Financial exploitation of an elder, specifically. Financial exploitation. The words sounded clinical, cold, but that's what this was. We need to file a police report, Tom said, today, and I'm recommending you freeze all these accounts. Open new ones, change every password, every security question, everything. I need evidence. More than just this. What if Jennifer says I'm confused? What if she says I gave her that money, that I approved everything? Tom looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, Barbara, I've known you 15 years. You're one of the sharpest clients I have. You're not confused, and these transactions, they show a pattern. Someone who knew your accounts, who had systematic access, who escalated the amounts over time. That's not a family member helping with finances. That's theft. I sat there looking at the numbers on those statements. 47 unauthorized accesses, $67,000, 18 months. I thought about every time I'd handed Jennifer money, every loan, every co-signed document. I'd given her $80,000 over 8 years because I thought I was helping, building their future, and she'd taken another $67,000 without asking, while I slept. "Tom," I said quietly, "I gave her everything she asked for. Why would she steal more?" He didn't have an answer for that. Tuesday morning, I took my mother's jewelry to Mr. Chen, third-generation jeweler, small shop on Main Street. He'd appraised these pieces for my mother 10 years ago. Mr. Chen recognized the ring immediately, held it up to the light with his loupe. 1947, good condition, excellent. He examined each piece carefully. The pearl necklace, the emerald brooch, made notes in his precise handwriting. "These are authentic," he said, "worth approximately $45,000, much more than most people realize." He pulled out an old file. "I appraised these for your mother. June 2014. She wanted documentation for insurance purposes." "Someone tried to sell them?" I asked. "Not these specifically, but last year a woman came in, had pieces similar in style, said they were family heirlooms, wanted to sell them quickly. No provenance, no documentation. I refused." "What did she look like?" 40s, brunette. She was upset when I said no, said she needed the money urgently. He looked at me carefully. "I didn't report it." "Perhaps I should have." I showed him my phone, a photo of Jennifer from last Christmas. "Is this her?" Mr. Chen studied the photo, nodded. "I believe so? Yes." So Jennifer had been planning this for over a year, trying to sell my mother's jewelry when I still thought it was safe in the cabin. She'd been caught then. This time, she'd tried to sink the evidence instead. But I had something else to show Mr. Chen. Documents from the suitcase. Appraisal papers for my mother's jewelry, dated 6 months ago, showing values much lower than the real worth, $15,000 total instead of $45,000. "These are forgeries," Mr. Chen said immediately. "The letterhead is wrong. My signature is wrong. Someone created fake appraisal documents, probably for insurance fraud." More evidence, more proof that this wasn't confusion or misunderstanding. This was systematic, calculated. Jennifer had been planning to steal, sell, and cover her tracks with forged paperwork. Wednesday morning, Ellen Morrison's law office, elder law specialist. Tom had recommended her. "She's seen this before," he'd said. "She'll know what to do." Ellen was 52, professional, direct. She listened to everything, didn't interrupt, made notes. When I finished, she set down her pen. "Barbara, what Jennifer did is called financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. It's a felony in this state. The forged POA, the unauthorized withdrawals, the attempted property transfer, each of those is a separate crime." She pulled out the property deed from my suitcase, the one showing transfer of the cabin to Jennifer. "This signature was forged?" "Yes, I never signed that." "We'll need a signature analysis expert to confirm it. But based on what you've told me, this document was never filed with the county. She was waiting, probably until after you died. Then she'd file it and claim you'd transferred ownership years ago. Can she do that?" "Not if we act now. We need to file a police report. Get ahead of this. And I'm recommending we pursue mediation or civil court, not just criminal charges. Criminal charges can take years. Mediation, we might resolve this in months. Get restitution. Protect your remaining assets." "What if Michael sides with her?" Ellen looked at me steadily. "Then you need to be prepared for that possibility. But Barbara, you have a legal right to protect yourself, even from family." The rest came quickly. Digital evidence, security camera footage from my bank showing Jennifer using that forged POA, emails between Jennifer and Michael where she mentioned managing Mom's assets, though Michael's responses suggested he didn't know the extent of what she was doing. Tom prepared professional testimony documenting the pattern of exploitation. Margaret, my lake neighbor, agreed to testify about witnessing Jennifer throw the suitcase, about overhearing a phone call Jennifer made last month. The old lady will never notice. She's forgetful anyway. I hadn't known about that call, hadn't known Jennifer talked about me like that, called me forgetful, set up the narrative that I was confused, preparing her defense before I even knew there was a crime. Thursday afternoon, I filed the police report. Financial Crimes Unit. Detective named Sarah Martinez. She was kind, professional. Took my statement. Looked at the evidence. Mrs. Hayes, this is a strong case. Very strong. We'll investigate. But I want to be honest. Family cases like this, they're complicated. Sometimes the victims don't want to prosecute. Sometimes family pressure. I'm prosecuting, I said, or pursuing civil action, whatever it takes to recover what was stolen and protect what's left. She nodded. Good. That's good. One mistake I made that week, Wednesday night. I called Michael, told him about the police report, the evidence, everything I'd found. He got quiet, then, Mom, you filed a police report against Jennifer without telling me first. Michael, she stole $67,000. She forged documents. What did you want me to do? I wanted you to give me time. I've been trying to talk to her. She won't answer my calls. She moved out of the house, took the girls to her sister's place, and now there's a police report. Mom, what if she keeps the girls from me? What if this destroys my family? Michael, she destroyed your family when she started stealing from your mother. He hung up. I sat there with the phone in my hand, my son angry at me, my daughter-in-law gone, my grandchildren who knew where. For a moment, just a moment, I thought, maybe I should have kept quiet, given him more time, handled this privately. Then I looked at the evidence spread across my table. $67,000 stolen, my mother's jewelry thrown in a lake, forged documents, a year of planning. No, I'd done the right thing, even if it meant losing my son's trust for now. Because protecting yourself isn't betrayal, setting boundaries isn't cruelty, and telling the truth isn't what destroys families. Stealing does that just fine on its own. Thursday evening. I drove back to the cabin after filing the police report. Needed to be there, needed to think. The house felt too empty, too full of Richard's absence and Michael's anger and my own doubts. The cabin, though. The cabin held 3 generations of memory. Maybe it could hold this, too. I arrived at sunset, the lake pink and gold, Mom's roses blooming by the porch, everything beautiful, everything wrong. Inside, I made coffee. I didn't drink. Stood at the kitchen window. Watched the light fade over the water. This place, this legacy. I'd almost lost it without knowing. Jennifer would have filed that forged deed eventually, after I died, and no one would have questioned it. Barbara signed it years ago, she'd have said. She wanted me to have it. A lie, but a believable lie. I thought about my mother. Thought about the last real conversation we had, her 80th birthday, right here at this cabin, summer, 2 years before she died. The memory came back sharp, clear, like I could step into it. August, hot. The whole family gathered. Michael and Jennifer, still newlyweds then. Emma was 6, Sophie was 3. They'd spent all day at the lake, swimming, laughing, building sandcastles on the small beach. Mom sat on the porch in her favorite chair, watching, smiling. She called me over. "Sit with me, Barbara." I did. We watched the girls play. Richard was teaching them to skip stones. Michael and Jennifer were setting up the grill, everything normal, happy. Mom reached into her pocket, pulled out the velvet jewelry box, the one I now kept in my safe deposit box. "I want you to have these now," she said. "Well, I'm here to tell you the stories." She opened the box. Her wedding ring set caught the late afternoon sun. Gold and diamonds. Simple. Beautiful. "Your father saved for 6 months to buy this ring," Mom said. 1947. We were so young. 22 and 23. Didn't have anything but dreams and stubbornness. She smiled, touched the ring gently. 56 years I wore this. Through the Depression recovery. Through raising you kids. Through your father's heart attack. Through everything. It survived because we protected it. Because we knew what it meant. She handed me the box. "Keep these safe for the girls. For Emma and Sophie. When they're old enough, tell them where they came from. Tell them about their great-grandfather who saved every penny. About their great-grandmother who made 1 chicken last 3 dinners. Tell them we survived. We endured. And they can too." I took the box. Promised. Mom looked at me, really looked, and said, "You're the one who'll protect this family, Barbara, not your brother. He's good, but he's not careful. You are. You understand that some things are worth fighting for." At the time, I thought she meant the jewelry, the cabin, physical things. I didn't understand she meant the stories, the legacy, the principle that families protect each other, not prey on each other. Thursday, evening, present day. I stood in that same cabin, at that same kitchen table, and I realized my mother had been wrong about one thing. I wasn't careful. I'd been careless, trusting when I should have been vigilant, giving when I should have been guarding. I'd let Jennifer in because I wanted to believe family meant something, that marriage made her ours, that love was enough. I spread everything across the table, the documents, the bank statements, the photographs I'd taken, my mother's jewelry in the center under the lamplight, the ring she'd worn for 56 years, the necklace, the brooch. Each piece was evidence now, not just heirloom, evidence of theft, of betrayal, of a year-long plan to steal everything Mom had left me. I picked up the ring, gold warm in my hand, heavier than it looked. The diamonds caught the light, threw tiny rainbows across the table, and I thought, Mom survived the Depression, raised 4 kids, saved everything to give us better lives. She trusted me to protect this, not just the ring, the meaning, the legacy. I'd been so focused on keeping family peace that I'd forgotten what protecting family actually meant. It didn't mean silence, didn't mean accepting abuse because confronting it would be uncomfortable, didn't mean sacrificing myself to keep everyone else happy. Protecting family meant setting boundaries, meant saying no, meant standing up even when the person you had to stand against was family too. I looked at the forged deed, at Jennifer's name typed neatly in the recipient field, at my signature, not my signature, at the bottom. For 5 years since Richard died, I'd been trying not to be a burden, trying not to be the difficult mother-in-law, the demanding mother. I'd given money to keep peace, ignored red flags to avoid conflict. I'd been so afraid of being alone that I'd let someone steal from me rather than risk losing my son's approval. That ended today. I set down the ring, picked up my phone, called Ellen Morrison, my attorney. She answered on the second ring. "Barbara, everything okay?" "Ellen, I want to pursue full legal action, civil suit, mediation, whatever gets me restitution and protects my assets. I'm not dropping charges. I'm not handling this privately. I want every legal protection available." Pause. Then, "Are you sure? Once we file, I'm sure. File everything. Tomorrow, if possible." "Okay, I'll draft the documents tonight. You can review and sign Friday morning." "Thank you." I hung up, took a breath, made the second call. Harder than the first. Michael answered on the 4th ring. "Mom." "Michael, I need you to hear this from me. Jennifer stole $67,000 and tried to steal the cabin. I have proof. Bank statements, forged POA, forged deed, security footage, witness testimony. I've filed a police report and I'm pursuing civil action. I'm doing this not because I want to hurt your family, but because I have to protect myself, and I have to protect your daughters. Inheritance. Silence. Long silence. Then, Mom, I need to see the evidence. Come to the cabin tomorrow morning. I'll show you everything. Jennifer's been calling me, crying, saying you've turned everyone against her, saying she never... Michael, stop. Look at your bank accounts. Look at your credit cards. Check your credit score. I think you're going to find things you didn't know about. I think Jennifer has been hiding more than just what she did to me. More silence. Then quietly, I'll come tomorrow, 9 a.m. Good. I love you, Michael. But I'm not letting this go. And I need you to understand. This isn't about revenge. It's about survival. And it's about making sure Emma and Sophie inherit something more than debt and lies. He didn't respond. Hung up. I set down the phone, sat at the table surrounded by evidence, by Mom's jewelry, by documents proving theft and forgery and systematic exploitation. I'd spent 5 years as a widow trying not to be difficult, trying not to burden my son, trying to keep the peace at any cost. But peace bought with silence isn't peace. It's just delayed confrontation. And protecting family doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means teaching your children and your grandchildren that boundaries are love, that standing up for yourself isn't selfish, that some things are worth fighting for. My mother survived the Depression, saved every penny, protected her family through poverty and war and loss. I could survive this. I could protect what she'd left me, and I could teach Emma and Sophie what real strength looked like. Not silence, not accommodation, not peace at any price. Strength was setting boundaries, standing firm, fighting back when someone, even family, tried to destroy you. I looked at my mother's ring one more time. Then I put it back in the velvet box, back in my purse. Tomorrow it was going in the safe deposit box where it belonged, where Jennifer couldn't reach it, where it would wait, safe, until Emma turned 18. Some legacies are worth fighting for, and I was done being too polite to fight. Friday morning, Michael came to the cabin at 9, alone this time. I had everything laid out. Bank statements, forged documents, police report, jewelry, evidence organized the way Tom had shown me. Professional, undeniable. Michael spent 20 minutes reading, not speaking, just reading. His face went through stages. Disbelief, anger, something that looked like grief. Finally, he set down the last statement. Mom, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I believe you, but I should have. I should have seen this. He rubbed his face, looked exhausted. Last night, I did what you said, checked our accounts, our credit cards. Mom, there are cards I didn't open, accounts I didn't authorize. My credit score dropped 90 points in the past year, and I didn't know why. Jennifer? Has to be. And there's more. He pulled out his phone, showed me statements, online poker, casino charges, $95,000 in gambling debts across 4 credit cards, some in my name, some in joint accounts. I confronted her last night. She admitted it, said it started after her business failed, said she kept thinking she could win it back, pay everything off before anyone noticed. $95,000 on top of the $67,000 she took from me. She's been using you to cover her gambling addiction, I said quietly. I know. Michael's voice cracked. And I've been so stupid. She'd ask for money, say it was for the girls' expenses, school supplies, dance lessons. I'd give it to her, never questioned, never checked. I just trusted, Michael, this isn't your fault. Isn't it? She's my wife. I brought her into this family. All the money you gave her, that was because of me, because I asked you to help us. We sat there in the quiet cabin. Father and son, grief between us. The death of the family we thought we had. What are you going to do? I asked. File for divorce, get a lawyer, figure out custody. I can't stay married to someone who did this. To you, to us. He looked at me. "Mom, I'm sorry. For not believing you right away. For defending her. For asking you to wait. You love her. Loved her. That's not something to apologize for. She stole from my mother. She did, and you're dealing with it now. That's what matters." 2 days later, Ellen called with news. "Barbara, I've been doing some research, checking with other elder law attorneys in the area. Jennifer's name came up." "What do you mean?" "Her own mother, Sandra Hayes, filed a police report 2 years ago, $30,000 missing from her retirement account. Jennifer was the one with access. They never pursued charges. Sandra dropped the complaint after Jennifer paid back $20,000. She claimed it was a misunderstanding." "Jennifer stole from her own mother?" "Yes, and there may be others. I'm still investigating, but this establishes a pattern. Serial financial exploitation. It makes our case much stronger." After Ellen hung up, I sat with that. Information. Jennifer hadn't just targeted me. She'd been doing this for years, to her own mother, probably to others. I wasn't a victim of circumstance. I was a victim of calculation. She'd married Michael knowing his mother was a recently widowed retiree, vulnerable, trusting. I'd been marked from the beginning. The legal threat started Wednesday. Jennifer's attorney, expensive, aggressive, sent a letter to my house. Heavy cream paper, law firm letterhead, professional threats in serif font. The letter demanded I return all jewelry immediately, claiming it had been gifted to Jennifer by me over the years. It demanded I cease slandering Jennifer's reputation. It threatened defamation charges. And it hinted, not subtly, at elder abuse allegations. "Mrs. Hayes has expressed concern about Barbara Hayes' mental state," the letter read. "Given Mrs. Hayes' age and recent erratic behavior, we believe a capacity evaluation may be necessary. Mrs. Hayes is experiencing confusion and paranoia, consistent with age-related cognitive decline." I read it twice at my kitchen table, coffee cooling, phone in my hand. They were going to claim I was confused, senile, that I'd given Jennifer everything willingly, and now, in my deteriorating mental state, I was making false accusations. It was brilliant, cruel, and exactly what Jennifer had been setting up for months. Those comments about me being forgetful, about my age, about mixing up memories. She'd been building the narrative. I called Ellen. "I got the same letter," Ellen said. "It's an intimidation tactic. They have no grounds for an elder abuse claim. You filed the police report. You have evidence. This is them trying to scare you into dropping charges." "Will it work? The capacity evaluation?" "They can request one. But Barbara, I've worked with you for 2 weeks. You're sharper than half my colleagues. No evaluator would find cognitive decline. This is a bluff. What if it's not? What if they push this? What if Michael starts to believe I'm confused? Then we get you evaluated now, on our terms. We establish your capacity before they can spin it. But Barbara, don't let them make you doubt yourself. That's what they want." After I hung up, I looked around my kitchen, at the files I'd organized, the evidence I'd collected, the timeline I'd built. Everything systematic, clear, logical. I wasn't confused. I was angry. Saturday. Jennifer's lawyer sent another letter, this one to Tom Patterson, subpoena for my financial records, and one to Margaret. Witness deposition scheduled. They were coming after everyone who'd helped me. Sunday afternoon, Margaret stopped by with a casserole, tuna, with the crispy onions. She set it on my counter, poured us both coffee. "Got a letter from Jennifer's lawyer," she said. "They want me to testify about what I saw." "I'm sorry. I never meant to drag you into this." "Barb, I'm not dragged. I volunteered. I saw what I saw. That woman threw a suitcase in the lake at dawn. I'm testifying." We drank coffee in companionable silence. 20 years of friendship. Margaret had been there when Richard died, when I learned to be a widow, when I figured out how to be alone. "Can I tell you something?" Margaret said. "I should have said this months ago. Last spring I saw Jennifer here, at the lake. You were visiting your brother. She came to the cabin, went inside, left 20 minutes later carrying a box. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought it was none of my business. Family stuff. And I didn't want to be the nosy neighbor who caused problems. But Barb, I knew something was wrong. I knew it. And I didn't say anything. So if you need me to testify, to tell them what I saw that morning, what I should have told you months ago, I'm there. After Margaret left, I got the second call that broke through my resolve. Michael. His voice tight, controlled. Mom, Jennifer's lawyer just told me something. They're planning to argue that if you pursue this, you're destroying my daughter's family. That Emma and Sophie will be traumatized, that I'll lose custody in the divorce if my mother is the one who put their mother in jail. They're going to make me choose. You or my kids. I sat down hard. Michael, I'm not choosing, Mom. I'm just telling you what they said. So you know, so you can prepare. But Mom, his voice broke slightly. What if they're right? What if this destroys Emma and Sophie's relationship with me? What if... Michael, stop. Listen to me. Jennifer destroyed your family when she started stealing, when she gambled away $95,000, when she chose addiction over her children. Not you, not me, her. And if her lawyer is threatening your custody, that's more manipulation, more intimidation. Don't let them make you doubt what's right. I know. I'm scared, Mom. I'm scared I'm going to lose everything. You won't. We won't let them. But Michael, I need you to be strong. For Emma and Sophie, they need to see their father stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. After he hung up, I almost broke. Almost called Ellen and said, stop everything. Drop the charges. Handle it privately. Give Jennifer whatever she wants. Because the thought of Michael losing his daughters, of those girls caught in the middle, of this legal battle destroying what was left of our family, I almost couldn't do it. Then my phone rang again. Margaret. Barb, I forgot to tell you something. That phone call I overheard. Jennifer was talking to someone. She said, the old lady will never notice. She's forgetful anyway. By the time she figures it out, I'll be gone. That was a month ago. She was planning this, planning to take everything and disappear. You're sure? I'm sure. And Barb? If you don't fight this, she'll do it to someone else, another family, another elderly person. She's done it before. She'll do it again. I sat there holding the phone, thinking about Jennifer's mother, about the $30,000 she'd stolen, about the pattern Ellen had found, about other potential victims I didn't know about. This wasn't just about me. It wasn't just about protecting my assets or my legacy. It was about stopping Jennifer before she found her next target. Thank you, Margaret, I said quietly. After I hung up, I called Ellen one more time. File everything, every motion, every claim. I'm not backing down. Schedule the mediation. 2 weeks, you said? Yes, I'll send you the date. Barbara, are you sure? The pressure's going to get worse. They're going to keep pushing, keep threatening. I'm sure. I've spent 5 years trying not to be a burden, trying not to cause problems. I'm done with that. It's time to fight. That night, I couldn't sleep. Stress, worry, fear, everything catching up. 2 a.m., my chest started hurting. Tight, sharp, radiating up my neck. I sat up in bed, tried to breathe. The pain got worse. I called 911. The ER was cold. Fluorescent lights, sanitizer smell. Michael arrived 30 minutes after I did, sat with me, held my hand while they ran tests, EKG, blood work, chest x-ray. 3 hours later, the doctor came back. Mrs. Hayes, your heart is fine. This was a stress-induced episode. Anxiety. Your blood pressure is very high, 170 over 105. That's concerning. Whatever's causing you stress, you need to resolve it, or it's going to cause real damage. Michael drove me home at dawn, neither of us speaking. He helped me inside, made me tea I didn't want. Mom, he said finally, is this worth it? Your health? Yes, I said. It is. Because Michael, if I give up now, What am I teaching Emma and Sophie? That when someone hurts you, you stay quiet? That family means letting people steal from you? That setting boundaries makes you the bad guy? He didn't answer. The mediation is in 12 days, I said. 12 more days, then it's over, one way or another. The next week passed in a blur. Stress, preparation, Ellen coaching me on testimony, what to say, what not to say, how to stay calm when Jennifer's lawyer attacked. Tom Patterson prepared his professional testimony, documentation of every transaction, every forged signature, every pattern of exploitation. Margaret prepared to testify about what she'd seen, what she'd heard. And Michael filed for divorce, served Jennifer papers, started custody proceedings. Everything was moving forward, like a train, unstoppable. The night before mediation, I drove to the cabin one last time, needed the quiet, the peace, the reminder of why I was doing this. I sat on the porch at 3 a.m, couldn't sleep, watched stars over the lake, heard loons calling, the same sounds I'd heard as a child. Some things don't change, some legacies survive. That's what I was fighting for. Not money, not revenge, memory, the principle that you protect what matters, even when it's hard, even when it costs you everything. Tomorrow was mediation. Tomorrow I'd sit across from Jennifer, from her lawyer, and I'd tell my truth, with evidence, with witnesses, with the law behind me. Tomorrow we'd learn if justice was possible, or if family silence would win after all. Tuesday morning, Ellen Morrison's conference room, downtown law office, 10th floor, large table, windows overlooking the city. I arrived 30 minutes early, needed the time, needed to breathe. Ellen was already there, setting up. Documents in organized folders, evidence bags, my mother's jewelry in clear plastic, looking wrong under fluorescent lights, sterile, but necessary. "How are you feeling?" Ellen asked. "Scared, tired, ready." "Good, that's the right mix." She gestured to the room. The mediator sits at the head. His name is David Chen, retired judge. Fair, professional. Jennifer and her attorney will sit on that side. You and I here. Michael can sit behind us if he wants, or in the hall. He'll be here. He called this morning, said he's coming, said he wants to be there. I nodded, couldn't speak. My son, choosing. Michael arrived 15 minutes before start time. We met in the hallway, just us. Ellen gave us space. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt, like he hadn't slept in days. Mom, Michael. We stood there, two people who loved each other, separated by everything that had happened. "I filed the divorce papers yesterday," he said. "Jennifer's been served. She knows." "How is she?" "Angry, desperate. Her lawyer thinks they can still negotiate down the charges, get you to drop everything if she pays back some money. They're coming in strong today." "I know." "Mom, I need to tell you something. Before we go in there, I've been going through our finances, really going through them. Jennifer didn't just take from you. She took from my daughter's college funds, $23,000. Gone. She told me she'd been making deposits. She hadn't. She'd been withdrawing." I closed my eyes. "Michael, I'm so sorry." Don't apologize. You didn't do this. She did." He took a breath. "I'm testifying today. If they ask me, I'm telling them everything. What I found, what I should have seen. I'm not protecting her anymore." "That's going to be hard." "Yeah, but you taught me something, Mom. These past 2 weeks, you showed me what it looks like to stand up for yourself, even when it costs everything, even when everyone's telling you to be quiet. Emma and Sophie need to see that too, so I'm doing it." I hugged him, my son, 45 years old, and still teaching me what strength looks like. "Thank you," I whispered. "We're going to get through this," he said. "Whatever happens in there, we're going to get through it." 9 o'clock. The mediation began. David Chen, the mediator, was 60, Silver hair, reading glasses, calm presence. He started with ground rules. This is a confidential mediation. Everything said here stays here. My job is to facilitate an agreement, not to judge, not to take sides, but to find resolution. Jennifer sat across from me. I hadn't seen her in 2 weeks. She looked different, thinner, makeup careful, professional outfit. Her lawyer beside her, Robert Morrison, no relation to Ellen. 50s, expensive suit, aggressive reputation. Ellen opened, professional, methodical. We're here because Jennifer Hayes has engaged in systematic financial exploitation of my client, Barbara Hayes, over an 18-month period. We have documentation. We have witnesses. We have evidence of $67,000 stolen, forged legal documents, and attempted property theft. She spread the evidence across the table. Bank statements, forged POA, property deed, photos of the jewelry. My mother's wedding ring sat in that evidence bag, under harsh office lights, reduced to Exhibit C. Robert Morrison responded immediately. My client denies all allegations. Mrs. Barbara Hayes gave my client access to her accounts to help manage finances. Mrs. Hayes is 68 years old. She's been exhibiting signs of confusion, memory issues. She gave that jewelry to my client years ago as gifts. This is a tragic case of an elderly woman who's confused about what she authorized and what she didn't. Ellen didn't flinch. We have witnesses prepared to testify. We'll start with Tom Patterson, Mrs. Hayes' financial advisor for 15 years. Tom took the seat beside the mediator. Calm. Professional. He'd done this before. Ellen asked the questions. Tom answered with precision. Mr. Patterson, can you describe the pattern of transactions you observed on Mrs. Hayes' accounts? Over 18 months, there were 47 unauthorized withdrawals, starting small, $500, $1,000, escalating to $30,000 in the final month. The access came through a power of attorney. I did not witness Mrs. Hayes sign. I flagged the largest transaction. Mrs. Hayes said she'd authorized it for an emergency car repair. I later learned there was no such repair. In your professional opinion, did Mrs. Hayes understand what she was authorizing? No, she was told these withdrawals were for legitimate family expenses. She wasn't informed of the full scope or frequency. Does Mrs. Hayes show signs of cognitive decline? None. She's one of my sharpest clients, organized, detail-oriented. She asks the right questions. There's no confusion. Robert Morrison cross-examined. 3 questions, quick. Mr. Patterson, did Mrs. Hayes ever refuse to give her daughter-in-law money? Not that I'm aware of. Did she ever express distrust of Jennifer Hayes before this incident? No. So she trusted her daughter-in-law with her finances? She trusted her as family. That trust was exploited. Morrison sat down. Tom returned to his seat. Ellen called Margaret Davis next. My neighbor. 20 years of friendship. She took the oath nervously, not used to legal proceedings. Mrs. Davis, can you describe what you witnessed on May 15th of this year? Margaret looked at me, then at Jennifer. I was awake early, around 5:30. I saw a black SUV at Barbara's dock. I recognized it. Jennifer's car. I watched her carry a suitcase to the end of the dock and throw it in the water. Then she left, quickly. Did you think that was unusual? Very. Barbara was supposed to be alone that weekend, and people don't throw suitcases in lakes unless they're hiding something. Did you have any other interactions with Jennifer Hayes? Last month, I overheard her on her phone. At the lake. She said, "The old lady will never notice. She's forgetful anyway. By the time she figures it out, I'll be gone." I didn't know what she meant then. Now I do. Morrison's cross-examination was sharper. Mrs. Davis, you admit you're Barbara Hayes' friend? Yes. So you have a vested interest in supporting her story? I have an interest in telling the truth. You're 72 years old. Are you certain about what you heard? Could you have misheard that conversation? Margaret's voice hardened. Young man, I was a nurse for 45 years. I heard plenty of conversations I wasn't supposed to hear. I know what I heard, and I know what I saw. That woman threw a suitcase in a lake. That's not something you misremember. Morrison backed off. The jeweler's written statement was read into record. The bank officer's documentation of the forged POA was submitted. Ellen presented everything methodically, building the case brick by brick. Then it was Jennifer's turn. She took the mediator's chair, her lawyer beside her. She looked at me once. Quick. Then away. Ellen's questions were direct. Mrs. Hayes, did you have authorization to access Barbara Hayes's bank accounts? She gave me access. She wanted help managing her finances. Did you withdraw $67,000 over 18 months? I don't know the exact amount. I withdrew money when Barbara asked me to, for expenses, for bills. Did Barbara ask you to withdraw $30,000 3 weeks ago? Pause. She authorized it. For what purpose? Emergency car repairs. There were no car repairs. The money went to pay off your gambling debts. Jennifer's face changed. Her lawyer touched her arm. Don't answer that. Ellen shifted. Mrs. Hayes, did you attempt to forge a property deed transferring Barbara's cabin to yourself? I never forged anything. This deed has your name as recipient. Barbara's signature at the bottom. Barbara says she never signed it. We have a signature expert prepared to testify it's a forgery. Then someone else forged it, not me. Who would forge a deed putting property in your name? No answer. Ellen placed a document on the table. This is a police report, filed by your mother, Sandra Hayes, 2 years ago. $30,000 missing from her retirement account. Your name on the access forms. Do you deny this? Jennifer's composure cracked, just slightly. That was different. That was a misunderstanding. We resolved it. By paying back $20,000 of the $30,000 you stole? Objection, Morrison said. The charges were dropped. Because your mother didn't want to prosecute her own daughter, Ellen said. Just like Barbara almost didn't prosecute hers. The mediator intervened. Let's take a break. 15 minutes. In the hallway, Michael was shaking. She lied. Right to everyone's faces. She lied. I know. And the thing about her mother, I didn't know that. She never told me she stole from her own mother. Ellen joined us. The mediator wants to talk settlement. They know we have them. The question is what terms we'll accept. I want full restitution, I said. Every penny. And I want the jewelry back today. And I want a no-contact order, 2 years minimum. She won't agree to no contact. That's her grandchildren. Then she should have thought about that before she stole from their grandmother. We went back in. The mediator presented terms, settlement negotiation. Robert Morrison tried to bargain down. $10,000 paid immediately, the rest forgiven. My client returns the jewelry. No admission of guilt, no criminal charges. Ellen didn't hesitate. Absolutely not. Full restitution, $67,000. Payment plan with wage garnishment if necessary. Jewelry returned today. No contact order for 2 years. And my client reserves the right to pursue criminal charges if payments aren't made. That's unreasonable. You're asking my client to admit to a crime she didn't commit. I'm asking your client to face consequences for a crime she absolutely committed. Back and forth. Numbers, terms, conditions. Finally, Jennifer spoke, her voice small, broken. I can't pay back $67,000. I don't have it. The gambling, I'm in debt. Michael's divorcing me. I'm going to lose everything. The room went quiet. Then you should have thought about that, I said quietly, before you threw my mother's jewelry in a lake. Jennifer looked at me, really looked. For the first time. Barbara, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything now, but I am. The gambling got out of control. I kept thinking I could fix it, win it back, pay everyone back. I never meant to. You stole from your own mother, I said. You stole from me. You stole from your daughter's college fund. You knew exactly what you were doing. And you tried to make everyone think I was confused, senile, that this was my fault. That's not gambling. That's calculation. Tears ran down Jennifer's face. I know, I messed up. I destroyed everything. I don't know how to fix this. You can't, I said, but you can accept the consequences. You can get help. You can pay back what you stole, and you can stop lying. The mediator intervened again. Let's talk specific terms. 2 more hours, negotiating, numbers, details. Finally, we had an agreement. $67,000 full restitution, payment plan $500 per month until paid, wage garnishment authorized if Jennifer misses payments, jewelry returned immediately, no contact order 2 years. Jennifer can see Emma and Sophie only with Michael present. No contact with Barbara. Mandatory gambling addiction treatment. Police report remains on file. Barbara reserves right to pursue criminal charges if terms violated. Both sides signed. The mediator filed the paperwork. This is legally binding. Violation means automatic criminal prosecution. Jennifer signed with shaking hands. Her lawyer packed up quickly. They left without another word. After they were gone, I sat in that conference room, Ellen and Michael beside me. The evidence still spread across the table. We did it, Ellen said. It's over. Yeah. Are you okay? I thought about that. Was I okay? I'd won, got justice, protected my assets, set boundaries. But I'd also lost. My relationship with Jennifer, obviously, but also the family I thought we had. The future I'd imagined. Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas mornings, watching Emma and Sophie grow up in a united family. That was gone. Jennifer had stolen that too. When the mediator read the settlement terms, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired. Relieved, yes, but mostly just very, very tired. This was my family, and it would never be the same. But I was still standing. I'd protected what my mother left me. I'd set boundaries, and I'd taught my son, and hopefully my granddaughters, what strength actually looks like. Not silence, not accommodation. Strength was knowing when to fight and accepting the cost of that fight, even when the cost was everything you thought family meant. 6 months later. The first restitution check arrived on a Wednesday in October. $500, certified mail, my name typed on the envelope, Jennifer's signature at the bottom of the check. I sat at my kitchen table, stared at it for a full minute. This small piece of paper, proof that consequences were real, that boundaries held. I didn't feel victorious. I felt relief, exhaustion, and something like sadness, because this check meant it was real. The theft, the betrayal, the destruction of what I'd thought was family. But I deposited it. Same day, and I opened a new account, a trust account specifically for Emma and Sophie. Every dollar Jennifer paid back would go there, protected, designated, waiting for them when they turned 25. This money was always meant for them, I told the bank officer. Now it's protected. By December, 3 more checks had arrived, sometimes on time, once 2 weeks late. Ellen sent a warning letter, but they came, slowly rebuilding what had been stolen. By my math, it would take 11 years and 2 months for full restitution. I'd be 79, but I'd be here, and the money would be there, safe. The no-contact order was harder than I expected, not because I wanted to see Jennifer. I didn't. But because it meant careful choreography for every interaction with my granddaughters. Michael brought Emma and Sophie to visit every other weekend. He'd pick them up from Jennifer's apartment Friday afternoon, drop them back Sunday evening. They'd spend Saturday mornings at my house, making pancakes, playing board games, normal grandmother things. Except nothing was normal anymore. The first visit after mediation, Emma asked careful questions. She was 12, old enough to understand. Grandma, why can't Mom come here? I'd prepared for this. Talked to Ellen about what to say. How much truth? Your mom made some choices that hurt me. We need space right now, but that doesn't change how much I love you and Sophie. Did she steal from you? Michael tensed. We'd agreed to be honest. age-appropriate but honest. "Yes," I said. "She took money that wasn't hers, and she needs to pay it back and get help. That's what we're all working on." Emma nodded, processing. "Dad said she's seeing a counselor for gambling." "That's good. That's really good." Sophie, 9 years old, was simpler. "I miss having everyone together," she said once, curled up on my couch with hot chocolate. "Me too, honey, me too." The property was secured by November. Ellen filed the corrected deed with the county. My name. Only my name. The forged document was flagged in the system as fraud. Jennifer could never try that again. I updated my will with Ellen's help. Everything crystal clear. The cabin goes to Michael. The jewelry to Emma and Sophie, split between them when they each turn 18. My retirement account split equally, but everything protected now. Irrevocable trust. Ellen Morrison as trustee. No single family member could access everything. Jennifer taught me something, I told Ellen as we signed the documents. Documentation protects love. She smiled. That should be on a bumper sticker. Michael came by one Saturday in November, after the girls had gone home, brought takeout, Thai food. We ate on my porch even though it was cold, both of us wrapped in blankets, watching the sun set. "The divorce was finalized last week," he said. "How are you doing?" "I don't know yet." Relieved, sad, angry, all of it. He picked at his food. "I keep thinking about all the signs I missed, how long she was lying, how I believed her every time." "Michael, you're not responsible for what she did." "I know. Therapy's helping me understand that. But Mom," he looked at me, "you taught me something these past 6 months. You showed me what it looks like to protect yourself, to set boundaries even when everyone's telling you to be quiet. Emma and Sophie saw that too. They saw their grandmother stand up. Say no, fight back, that matters. I wasn't sure it was the right thing, putting you through all of this. It was the right thing. And I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I'm sorry I asked you to wait, to handle it privately." He set down his food. "Mom, I want to say this clearly. I'm proud of you for filing that police report, for going to mediation, for not backing down even when Jennifer's lawyer tried to make you seem confused. You protected yourself, and you protected my daughter's inheritance. That took courage." I couldn't speak, just nodded, reached over and squeezed his hand. "We're going to be okay," he said. "It's going to take time, but we're going to be okay." Tom Patterson stopped by my house in December, unannounced, brought a folder. "I've implemented some new security on your accounts," he said. "Two-factor authentication, alert system for any transaction over $500, quarterly reviews with me in person, and I've set up the trust for Emma and Sophie exactly how you wanted." He handed me the folder. Inside, the trust documents, account statements, everything organized the way Tom always organized things. Precise, protected. "There's something else," he said. He pulled out a handwritten note on his business card. "I don't usually do this, but I wanted you to know. In 30 years of financial advising, I've seen this too often. Families taking advantage of elderly parents. Most of the time, the victims don't fight back. They stay quiet, they're embarrassed, or they're afraid of losing their children. You did the right thing. Your courage protects others." I read the note. Simple, direct. Tom's precise handwriting. "Thank you," I said, "for everything. For catching that $30,000 withdrawal, for testifying, for helping me understand what was happening. That's my job, but Barbara," he looked at me seriously, "keep those security measures in place. Even after this is resolved, trust is earned, not assumed, even with family." After he left, I put his note in my desk drawer, next to the trust documents, next to my mother's death certificate and the deed to the cabin. Things that mattered, things worth protecting. Margaret came by every Sunday, same as always, coffee on my porch, 9 a.m. sharp, brought casseroles I didn't need but appreciated. This week, chicken and rice. with the crispy breadcrumb topping. "Freeze half," she said, same as always. We sat, drank coffee, watched November turn to December, the lake cold now, gray, beautiful in its starkness. "I should have said something sooner," Margaret said one morning, "about Jennifer, about seeing her at the cabin when you weren't here. I knew something was wrong." "You testified when it mattered. That's what counts." Still, I let neighborly politeness stop me from saying something. Won't make that mistake again. She sipped her coffee. "How are you really doing, Barb?" "Some days are hard. Some days I'm angry all over again. Some days I just feel tired. That's honest. But I'm here. I'm standing. My accounts are protected. The cabin's secure. Emma and Sophie still visit. Michael and I are rebuilding. It's not the life I planned at 68, but it's mine." Margaret smiled. 23 years I've known you. You're stronger now than you've ever been." "I don't feel strong." Strength isn't feeling strong. It's standing up when you'd rather sit down, fighting when you'd rather hide. You did that. That's strength. In January, I did something I'd been planning since mediation, something symbolic but necessary. I planted a rose bush at the cabin, next to my mother's original roses. 23 years old now, still blooming every summer. This new one was red, deep crimson. The tag said it was hardy, resistant, would survive cold winters. I dug the hole myself, got dirt under my fingernails, felt the January cold seep through my gloves, planted that bush with my own hands, watered it, packed the soil firm. "This one's for me," I said out loud, "to the lake, to the roses, to my mother's memory, for surviving, for fighting back, for standing." The bush wouldn't bloom until spring, but it would bloom, and when it did, I'd be here to see it, still standing, still growing, still here. The letter to Emma and Sophie took me 3 weeks to write. Drafts and revisions, trying to find the right words, the right tone. How do you explain to your granddaughters that their mother stole from you, that you had to take legal action, that family sometimes means setting boundaries, not keeping peace? Finally, I wrote this. To my granddaughters, Emma and Sophie, when you read this, you'll be 18, old enough to understand what happened, old enough to know the full story. Your great-grandmother, my mother, gave me her jewelry 60 years ago when I was not much older than you are now. She said, "Keep these safe for the girls." She meant you. These rings, this necklace, this brooch, they survived the Great Depression. They survived a world war. They survived poverty and loss and everything life threw at 3 generations of our family. I almost lost them. Someone I trusted tried to take them, tried to take the cabin, tried to take everything your great-grandmother built and saved and protected. I fought for these things because they represent something bigger than gold and pearls. They represent generations of women who survived, who protected what mattered, who passed on what they could. I want you to know something important. Trust, but verify. Love, but set boundaries. Family means protecting each other, not protecting secrets. When someone hurts you, even if that someone is family, you have the right to stand up, to say no, to fight back. These pieces are yours now. Wear them knowing women in our family are strong. We fight for what matters. We protect what we love. We don't give up. And we teach our daughters to do the same. I love you both, always. Grandma Barbara. I sealed the letter in an envelope, put it with the jewelry in the safe deposit box. Instructions. To be opened when Emma Hayes turns 18. Copy to Sophie Hayes at 18. Someday they'd read it. Someday they'd understand. And someday they'd know that standing up for yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. And it's the greatest gift you can give the people who come after you. 14 months after mediation, April, spring at the lake. Emma and Sophie spent the weekend with me at the cabin. Michael dropped them off Saturday morning, picked them up Sunday afternoon. Our new normal. Still careful, still complicated, but working. Saturday afternoon, the 3 of us sat on the dock, feet dangling over the water. Sophie was teaching me how to braid friendship bracelets. Emma was reading, always reading, some thick fantasy novel with a dragon on the cover. "Grandma," Sophie said, concentrating on the colored threads, "Mom's payments are still coming, right?" "Yes, honey, every month." Dad said when we turn 25, we get money for college, or whatever we want. "That's right, it's in a trust account, protected, waiting for you." Emma looked up from her book. "Because Mom took it first?" I'd learned to be honest with them, age-appropriate, but honest. Yes, and now she's paying it back. That's what consequences look like. You make a mistake, you fix it. Takes time, but you do the work. Emma nodded, went back to her book. Sophie finished my bracelet, tied it around my wrist, pink and purple, a little uneven, perfect. I looked at my granddaughters, 13 and 10 now, growing up without the family I'd imagined for them, but growing up knowing that boundaries are love, that protecting yourself isn't selfish, that women in our family stand up when it matters. Some legacies you pass down through jewelry, some through stories, some through the example you set when everything falls apart and you choose to stand anyway. I speak at the Senior Resource Center once a month now, Thursday mornings. Ellen Morrison suggested it after the mediation. "Other people need to hear your story," she said. "Financial exploitation is an epidemic. Most victims never report it." So I tell my story, the edited version, the teachable version. $67,000 stolen, forged documents, family member with access, the warning signs I missed, the red flags I ignored because I valued peace over protection. And I tell them what I learned. Trust but verify. Love but set boundaries. Family means protecting each other, not protecting secrets. Last month, a woman approached me after. 74. Her son's girlfriend was asking for money. Lots of money. For emergencies that never quite made sense. "I thought I was being paranoid," she said. "But your story. I'm going to talk to a financial advisor. Check my accounts." "Good," I said. "That's good." If my story protects one person, prevents one theft, stops one predator, then it was worth it. All of it. The mediation, the legal battle, the family fracture, worth it. Margaret still brings casseroles. Every other week, we still drink coffee on Sunday mornings, watch the sunrise over the lake. 24 years of friendship now, deepened by crisis. My book club meets monthly. Same women, same comfortable discussions about novels we've only half read. Normal life, quiet life. The life I rebuilt after everything fell apart. The payments keep coming, sometimes late. Ellen sends reminder letters, but they come. $500 a month, deposited into Emma and Sophie's trust. In 10 years, when the full $67,000 is repaid, I'll be 79 years old, still here, still standing. My mother's jewelry sits in the safe deposit box, letters attached, instructions clear, for Emma Hayes at 18, for Sophie Hayes at 18, from Grandma Barbara, with love. The cabin is mine, deed clear, protected. Every spring the roses bloom, my mother's original bushes, and the new one I planted, red and resilient, side by side. I'm 69 now, older than I was when this started, but stronger. Not because I won, but because I fought. Because I stood up. Because I protected what mattered even when the cost was everything I thought family meant. Some days are still hard. I see Michael's struggle, the girls' confusion, the loss of what we could have been. I feel the absence of easy family gatherings, the simplicity of trust without verification, but I also feel something new, pride. In myself, in my son, in the boundaries we've set and the healing we're building, in the legacy I'm protecting for two girls who will someday read my letter and understand what their grandmother did and why it mattered. If you're reading this, if you're listening to this story, and you recognize something familiar in it, if there's someone in your life asking for money, for access, for trust without questions, if you're ignoring red flags because confronting them would be uncomfortable, If you're staying quiet because you're afraid of being difficult, of causing problems, of losing family, please don't wait. Check your accounts. Talk to a professional. Set boundaries. Ask questions. Protect yourself. Because protecting yourself isn't selfish. Setting boundaries isn't cruelty. And telling the truth isn't what destroys families. Stealing does that just fine on its own. You deserve to be safe. Even from family. Especially from family. Your worth isn't measured by how much you give. Your value isn't proven by how much you tolerate. Stand up. Say no. Fight back when someone tries to take what's yours. Even if that someone shares your last name. Even if that someone calls you Mom. You're stronger than you think, and you're not alone. I'm sitting on my porch right now. Evening. The lake calm. My mother's roses blooming in the spring sun. Pink and red side by side. 3 generations of survival, of protection, of standing. The cabin my mother bought 24 years ago, the legacy she trusted me to protect. Still here, still mine, still safe. Some things are worth fighting for, and some fights are worth winning, even when the cost is everything you thought love meant, even when the price is the family you imagined, even when standing up means standing alone. Because in the end, protecting what matters isn't about being strong, it's about being willing. Willing to be uncomfortable, willing to set boundaries, willing to fight when every instinct says to keep peace. I did that. I fought, and I won. Not everything, not the family I imagined, but something more important. I won myself back, my safety, my dignity, my right to say no. And that was worth every hard day, every difficult conversation, every moment of doubt. That was worth everything.